get this. This is crazy, I tell you. So the Eagles and the Ravens discussed a trade involving Jalen Reagor and Chuck Clark. Now here's the crazy thing. The Ravens are the ones that initiated the trade for Jalen Reagor. They actually thought about adding Jalen Reagor. Just when you thought you were out, Howie Vision pulls you back in. Dallas still stinks. You're by the way, King Dingbat here. So a lot of us Eagle fans have been wondering, how long before Jalen Reagor is at work and he keeps repeating the same phrase? Would you like fries with that? How long before that happens? I don't think it's going to be long, but before it does happen, he's got to leave the Philadelphia Eagles. And we don't know what his future is because it's up in the air, especially after the Eagles went out and got A.J. Brown. But now we're finding out that the Eagles have already entertained trading him. And not only did the Eagles entertain the idea of trading him, they didn't initiate the conversation. The Baltimore Ravens did. Can you believe this? Now, before we get into all this, I gotta say, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe for Eagles content, daily NFL content. You don't want to miss it. You see how I'm Mark Holmes and you guys today, and my eyes are all messed up from my allergies, but we're still here working, and we ain't going nowhere. So make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and if you guys have been subscribed for a while, just double moonwalk check that you're still subscribed, because YouTube acts gagoots, and sometimes they unsubscribe people unknowing to themselves. So just double moonwalk check, as I say. But anyways, this video, and you know I had to do this video. You know how to talk about this, right? My previous video was all about the Eagles and the Cowboys Christmas Eve. I had to make that a separate video because I'm so pumped up about that matchup. But we had to talk about this Jalen Reagor situation. And for those that don't know, why am I calling Jalen Reagor Jalen Reagor? And it's simple. It's easy. Jalen Reagor reminds me of a worse version than Nelson Agholor. Okay, and if as I said, if you haven't watched me for a while, you'll know that if you've been watching me for a while, rather, you'll know that Nelson Agholor is my nemesis. He's like my great nemesis. He has literally put years on my life. Watching him drop the balls, chokes, air fumbles, all sorts of things. It totally destroyed me, okay? And yes, he had a great year in 2017. I acknowledge that. That only added about 2 years back onto my life. But for the most part, Nelson Agholor, he drove me crazy. And it wasn't that he didn't have talent. It wasn't that he couldn't go out and play. He could. It all seemed to be upstairs with him. It all seemed to be mental and based upon confidence. And that is exactly how I see Jalen Reagor. And I call him Reagor because he reminds me of Nelson Agholor. I believe Reagor, somewhere inside, has the talent, has the ability. But for him, I think it's mental. I think if you watch him play, he always looks like he's overthinking. He's trying to figure out what to do, where to go. It's not instinctive. He doesn't just react, and he looks fairly slow. Now, if you look at the few plays he's had that were good, especially on punt returns, you look at Reagor, he scores a touchdown versus Green Bay. He fumbled, he dropped the ball, had to pick it up and just react. And then there was a game last year, I forget who it was, maybe the Giants, where it was a bad punt and it bounced and he had to just run and react to it. And he looked great. To me, he overthinks it, and I think it's really mental with Jalen Reagor. And I think for that reason, a change of scenery may be really, really good for him, okay? So let me tell you what I think, okay, about this whole Reagor situation, okay? I think once the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown, they basically sealed the fate of Jalen Reagor, okay? And here's why I say that, okay? Jalen Reagor is a first-round pick. He's making first round pick money. When you look at this roster in the depth chart at wide receiver, Jalen Reagor is probably the sixth best wide receiver, right? You have obviously A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Then you have Quez Watkins. You have Pascal. And you have Greg Ward Jr. All those guys, in my opinion, are they're better than Jalen Reagor, and it's not even close. You can argue John Hightower is better than him. So how does the front office, how does the Eagles, how do they justify paying Jalen Reagor to be the sixth wide receiver or fifth wide receiver or just make the cut? They can't do it. To me, they're going to either trade Jalen Reagor or they're going to cut him. And by the way the Eagles work, it would be very smart, and they're very smart when it comes to things like this. It would be very smart to try to act like you want to keep him, tell everybody how great he looks at practice, how hard he's working, have him put out pictures of him working out and things like that, like they did, and build up his trade value, and then try to move him. And if you can't, then you cut him. I don't want this guy back on this team. I don't. And to me, if you have to just cut him and eat the dead money, so do it. Do it. $10 million? I mean, you gave up $35 million in dead money for Carson Wentz. You can give up some money and get rid of Reagor. But hopefully, they're going to trade him. And I think they're trying to, right? And obviously, you guys have heard about the reports coming out that the Eagles, in fact, were talking to the Baltimore Ravens during the draft about trading for Jalen Reagor. And here's the crazy thing about it. Like, this is how nutty this world is. Baltimore, a team that is very good at drafting, very good at recognizing talent, and traded Hollywood Brown away during the draft. They're the ones that initiated contact with the Eagles. They initiated first contact with Howie Roseman. All right? So they inquired about trading for Reagor. And here's what the report says. The Ravens and the Eagles discussed a trade for safety Chuck Clark during the draft, according to Adam Kaplan. Ravens showed interest in wide receiver Jalen Reagor, but talks died down. And the reason, in my opinion, most likely the talks died down because Baltimore wanted more than the Eagles were willing to give in terms of, I'm sure it wasn't Chuck Clark for Jalen Reagor straight up. I'm sure they wanted a draft pick in return. I know that they did. There's no way on earth anybody would do a straight up trade for Jalen Reagor. So they probably wanted too much. The Eagles said no, and talks have died down. Now here's the thing. The talks may have died down, but I doubt they're dead. Matter of fact, I think that the Eagles in Baltimore probably have a good idea of what each other wants. And this could be one of those things where you just want to wait it out longer than the other guy until they come down. You're going to have things like training camp. You're going to have OTAs. You're going to have people get injured. So you don't know what possibly can open up. But I don't think with Howie Roseman and Baltimore, I don't think this trade is dead yet at all. I think there's still a really good possibility that this thing could happen. It's at least possible, okay? Now, the Eagles, if they were to trade Jalen Reagor, what are they getting back in return? Well, they're getting themselves a good safety, okay? That's what they're getting back. Chuck Clark, he's a good safety. He's only 27 years old. 27. He just turned 27 in April. So he's 27 years old, 6 foot, 205 pounds. He had 49 solo tackles last year, 2 interceptions. And the guy's been pretty consistent over the years for Baltimore. And then here's the other thing about him, right? When you look at him and you look at his cap numbers, they're really not that bad. They're very affordable for the Eagles. He makes $4.6 million against the cap this year. In 2023, he's $5.1 million against the cap. So he's a very affordable player to go out and trade for. The question is what Baltimore, what are they asking for, and how do you get Reagor in this trade? Get rid of him, you know? You got to do it. Now, I think Chuck Clark would be a great pickup. And then, look, dream scenario, well, not dream scenario, but best case scenario that could happen this all season. The Eagles trade for Chuck Clark, and then they sign James Bradberry to a free agent contract. If they could somehow pull those two things off, Dude, I'll have to do a Howie Vision. I'll have to do an apology video to Howie Roseman and just skip next year's draft. Because I said I want 3 good drafts. I'll skip it. You get Chuck Clark, you get Bradbury, it's done. Because this would be an amazing all season. That would greatly improve this defense, and it would fill both the holes that they have remaining. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the best case scenario. Most likely case scenario is that the Eagles will sign either a safety or a corner. I'm going to lean towards corner. I think that at cornerback, especially on the outside, to me there's bigger question marks than Epps or Kevon Wallace. If I had a guy like James Bradbury come in and play corner and start opposite Slay, I think Epps and Kevon Wallace can play decent enough that we can get by. But if you go out and get like a Chuck Clark and you have, let's say, McPherson as your other corner, you don't know what you're getting. You obviously don't know what you're getting. The kid's got talent, but he's young. Hold on, we need a drink. Pinky up, baby. Got to show that you always have class, okay? Now, I know there are a lot of people say, let the young corners play. Just let them play. I'm okay with that. However, let them play and then bring in a veteran anyways. And if they play better than the veteran, then I start him, let the veteran go. That's what I would do. But this is a fascinating report with would have been such an interesting trade. If they would have somehow pulled this off and still had A.J. Brown and done everything that they did, it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. But I'm sure the Eagles value Jalen Reagor more than Baltimore does, and Baltimore wanted probably more. So hopefully they can work it out. I don't by any means think this trade option is done yet. I think there's still a real possibility. But we're going to have to see if they can figure out, good compensation. And it'll be interesting. If I had to guess, I'd say the Eagles are going to sign a corner and probably go what they have at safety. But if they could get Chuck Clark, it would be fantastic. Those are kind of my thoughts on it. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I should have a schedule or a record prediction for the Eagles, my first of the year. I usually do 3 during the all season. 1 right after the schedule, and then we go from there. So look for that Friday sometime, Friday night, maybe Saturday morning. But with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Oh, Jalen Reagor's gotta go, baby. Gotta go. It makes sense now. I was just thinking about this after I filmed this video. It makes sense. Reagor, if you remember, he cut all Eagle stuff out of his Instagram and things like that. He was very upset. Well, he probably heard that there's a possibility of them trading him. And if they did hear that if he did hear that they may trade him, he's useless going forward. Because this is a guy that can't take criticism on Instagram. This is a guy that came in out of shape, failed his physical. This is a guy that I don't think could handle it. So if he knows that they're trying to trade for him, he's probably checked out. So to me, at that point, you might as well cut him. You can say what you want about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and we do. You can say what you want, but at least he's not like, always flipping out or, going off or hiding his stuff on Twitter and Instagram and just being a baby. At least the guy has his mom hold up his umbrella like a man. You know what I mean? With that said, Denzel Washington out.